Hello and welcome. Lovely to see you. Just wanted to do a little update following on from the letters that went out last week and the notices that were given on Sunday, all about our site redevelopment and needing to find some extra money because of cash flow issues. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's got in touch, either to respond and give generously, to offer loans. Thank you so much. To those who have offered questions and wanting clarification, we really appreciate that sort of questioning, because it does make sure that we are trying to run the church and the PCC in the best way possible. So we really appreciate those questions, and do send them in if you have them. Don't sit worrying. And as ever, you can approach myself or Brian. We're not scary. We're nice, lovely people. So do get in touch if you'd like to ask any further questions. But I just thought it'd be useful to grab Brian just before our midweek communion service and ask him a couple of questions about, just to clarify a little bit about where we're up to and why we've got to the point we're at the moment. So it's simply, the first question, Brian, is, in a nutshell, what's the need?
Because our project has really taken off quite well, we found ourselves in a situation where we didn't get the land sale money in time for the way we planned the finances to go. So that actually means that we've got what's called a cash flows problem, where we're expecting the money, we're hoping and expecting the money, and we do believe it will come, but we've got we haven't got enough money to cover the outgoings at a particular time. We always had that view because people generously pledged giving for over 5 years. So we knew we were going to get the money and we can bank on that money coming in, but it's not come in time because we need to spend it now. So we said right early on, we may have to have a loan to cover that. And people refer to that as, say, a bridging loan. And that's basically what's happened. Because the land sale hasn't come in, we now find ourselves needing the bridging loan earlier. We probably would have had to have it towards the end of the project anyway, because, you know, the generosity of the people wasn't in time that suited the cash flow going out.
So one of the questions I've heard is just, how have we got to this point? Why, as a PCC, did we agree to start the project not fully having all the money banked?
Yeah, this was a fair question, and we, because of the generosity of the congregation in pledging something like £340,000 and this enormous legacy that we got, it added up to enough money to pay the build cost. But there are other complications in such a large project like this, like we have to pay VAT, but we can reclaim a large portion of the VAT. And that depends on what the work is. So that is money that we've got to pay out first, although we'll get it back. So it's another one of those things where we were anticipating money being in time, and it hasn't happened, and we've got to cover that. Yeah. And the bridging loan is the answer for the moment.
And so, I mean, just on something like VAT, VAT on the whole project that we might expect to get back is somewhere in the region of 200,000, isn't it? Right. So it's a large sum of money we're talking about.
And it's not so easy to completely, pinpoint it, because the listed places of worship VAT recovery scheme is quite detailed, and Fiona is spending hours making sure that we actually claim the bits we can claim. And sometimes they reject things and say, well, you're not allowed to claim that bit of the professional fee because it covers a particular style of work.
Yeah.
And you imagine, in a contract of this size, and this is only stage one, there are hundreds of portions of work that need to be vetted for VAT reclamation.
So, I mean, this is a bridging loan we're asking for at this point to finish off stage one, because we'd anticipated the land sale coming through. But it's the case, isn't it, that we were always going to need some kind of loan or to ask for more generosity in giving anyway, in order to finish the whole project. Yeah. It's just a case that we're having to ask for it at the end of stage one rather than, before starting stage two. So that's why it might seem like there's a sudden immediate need, and really we wanted to ask the congregation first, look to our own first in order to try and raise the funds to minimise the amount of liability we have on a loan. So the way in which people are able to give generously now, or let us know about further pledging, then that enables us to reduce the amount of loan we need to ask for, and will enable us to pay that back through continued generosity of our parish, which we're so thankful for, through hiring of the building and the use of the new building when we've got that as well. And we are trusting God that will all run quite smoothly. On the full build cost of somewhere in the region of 1.8 million.
Yes.
When, to be looking for 300,000 or so, it's actually really good going and real testament to God's incredible generosity. And we don't quite know yet what the land sale will realise. We do have some good news just yesterday that we have found an agreement in moving forwards in how we sell the land. And so we're hopeful that the for sale signs will go up very soon, and we'll see the land shift. We have had over 40 interested parties already in the land. And as long as we can get the right figures and land values are going up as we speak, then we're really trusting and God that it will all come through and we'll be able to complete the project in its entirety as soon as possible. So, it's not that there's a sudden immediate need that we hadn't figured out, we hadn't realised. It's just the timings hadn't quite worked. We were always going to need to come and say, look, we need to raise another 300,000 to meet the cost. It's just because it's only through that incredible generosity of John Shepherd for the £655,000 he gave in his legacy that's enabled the project even to begin, on top of the incredible generosity of the parish giving faithfully week by week. But on that, Brian, how are the rest of the parish finances generally?
Well, we've been really astoundingly fortunate in the generosity of our congregation. We have had the church almost closed down, yet people have carried on in their giving, which means that we have more than dealt with the normal lifestyle of the church. All the costs, the utilities, the insurances have carried on, and effectively we're seeing a slight rise in our income over expenditure, and that's over the last year and a half. It's not just now. So people have been continually generous in terms of the way they've treated their giving for us, for Holy Saviour. And we're super thankful for that. To be able to, as a family, be meeting our living costs is so important, and we are able to do that. And hopefully, once the project is fully realised, once we are able to really look to what we're going to be doing and implementing things, and we'll continue to see the way in which we reach out into the community grow because of the generosity of so many. And we are so thankful to everyone who gives sacrificially to the work here. So thank you so much. It does seem sometimes as if there's a brick wall gone up, but as we look back over the last 4 years, there's been times when we've felt quite troubled and concerned, and yet the Lord has provided and things have moved forward in his time, and we're depending on us doing what he wants in these circumstances, and we have to live with his timing. Yeah. And we're trusting, we're faithful that it is going to happen. Yes. We are going to see this come together. And we're really excited. We've got midweek communion starting back today, which is going to be great. That's wonderful to see everyone. Just another sign of things restarting and growth, hopefully beginning from that point. Yeah. And a good preacher today as well. This guy. Thank you so much for listening. If you've got any questions, any further worries, do get in touch with us. But be assured, we are prayerfully pursuing how we move things forwards. We are so grateful to God's continued generosity. And we are really aware as a PCC not to make wrong decisions, not to make rash decisions, not to step out and take too much risk,
but it's that balance always of trying to balance risk with faith. And we really believe that this is the direction God is calling us to, because we've spent so long dreaming and thinking about and praying about this building and this redevelopment. And it's about time we get it done so that we can step into all that God has in store for us as a parish. It's an exciting time. It's a nerve-wracking time, but it's an exciting time. And I do believe we're going to look back, as Brian said again, and just see God's continued faithfulness. So stick with us, but get in touch if you have any other questions. Thank you.